right, we are back, episode 10?
At number 10.
Number 10, I'm keeping track. All right. Well, as always, I am Joey Ruff, the bar guy, I guess. Bar owner, bar runner, bar tender, long time standing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who are you?
I am Joseph Reibold. I'm a general manager for a local IT company here in the area, tech enthusiast, and just all around enjoyer of good booze and good tech.
There you go. All right, so what are we talking about? It's episode 10.
Episode 10 is going to be all about networking.
Okay.
We're talking the nuts and bolts, the basics of networking,
Yeah.
the things that everybody needs to know.
A topic you know well.
Yes, I know very well. It was my education going all the way back into high school. I
Okay.
did some computer networking classes, then went into college for TSM is what they called it before, but now they call it cybersecurity and network management. So nobody understood what telecommunications was, so they said cybersecurity is a better name, so that's what they did. But yeah, so networking, it's a kind of a love of mine that I get to share a little bit with the listeners today and with you.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing about networking. I know very little about it.
Okay.
I know how to hook a Wi-Fi printer up. That's about it.
Well, there we go. We'll get into that a little bit today.
Maybe I can change the password on my router. So, but I have to follow the directions. So, yeah, not my forte. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about it. And then, of course, networking is about bringing devices together.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. In a nutshell. So, thought in this case for our drinks, we're going to talk about drinks that bring people together.
A little bit of social networking.
A little bit of social networking. Not quite Facebook, but we're gonna And as I thought about it and as we dug into it, it was like there are really three ways that a drink can bring people together. Okay. The first one is through a ritual. Okay. Think of something like a champagne toast, right?
Okay.
Brings the crowd in together. Everybody's involved in the moment. A story. Okay. A story tends to draw people in. They engage better with it. So that's always something. The story behind a drink is key. And the third way is going to be an experience. Okay. A drink that is made in such a way that people stop and pay attention.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever it is about that drink, usually like a smoked old fashioned, the Red Brick Inn we did.
Yeah.
Is one of those drinks, and I did mention that, whenever we sell one, we usually sell a couple in a night. So yeah, stuff like that.
Actually going back on that, it was so interesting to me this week because last week we did the Red Brick Inn and we got to enjoy the smoked smell and everything.
Yeah.
And then twice this week I saw different people get it, and I'm like, I've never seen this drink ordered here for the just couple months that I've been coming, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's twice in a week, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly what I was talking about, but it kind of goes with it. We made one, and then two more sold.
Yeah.
So, different nights, no experience. It's just very coincidental, but still funny how it kind of played out that way. So for the first one, we're going to do the ritual.
Yeah.
For the first drink, and this ritual is something that I think is more ritualized for like frat parties.
Okay.
Things of that nature. We used to have a bartender here who was in the Army at Fort Campbell. And what we're going to make is jungle juice.
Okay.
Jungle juice, you probably heard the term jungle juice. It's really just a crazy combination of things, strong and fruity, put all in there together. Our bartender in the Army, they would have these hunch parties or whatever they call it, hunch punch. Same concept as jungle juice. Their ritual was in the Army, and I think they still do this in frat parties and stuff, but basically the way it is, you get a big punch bowl, okay, and everybody brings something.
Yeah.
It could be fruit juice, it could be fruit, it could be the worst alcohol that they want to get rid of out of their cabinet, whatever, and everybody takes it and they all dump everything into this bowl.
Yeah.
Stir it around, and then people start drinking it until they fall over, pass out, puke, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of it. We're not here with the intention of puking,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a ritual that a lot of people do experience, and thought it would be kind of fun. What I've done though is, I had a recipe for a punch that I made, but then I broke it down into cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
We're not making a giant punch bowl. There's no punch bowl on the table here, but the point is strong, fruity, not really tasting the alcohol. But if you have several of them, you will definitely feel it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are generally made with Everclear.
Oh, wow.
Don't recommend that at all. That is recipe for disaster. We're going to go with rum.
Okay.
Right? Rum is designed kind of as one of those beverages that alcohols that really pairs well with fruit. Rum is inherently sweeter because it's made from molasses, which we kind of mentioned when we talked about the cachaca being distilled from sugarcane. So it's a sugar alcohol by nature, even though alcohol is sugar. So I got a couple different kinds of rum here, and I got a little bit of vodka because it wouldn't be much of a jungle juice if you only use one liquor, and then a lot of fruit juices. So we're gonna jump into this, and if you want to grab your stuff at home, join along. I'll make it, you pause it, rewind, get your stuff, and make it again with me. So we're gonna go with a white rum. We're gonna do 1 ounce of white rum. I'm doing 2 ounces because I'm doubling this drink because I'm making 2 cups. Then we have a passion fruit rum. This is just Malibu's passion fruit. It doesn't have to be a passion fruit rum. Any kind of fruity rum you have, that's really just the point of it. I have a banana rum here I could have easily used. If you have a pineapple rum, coconut rum, whatever. I thought passion fruit would be fun because it's a different tropical flavor. We don't really do a lot of that around here. So it's 0.75 ounces of passion fruit. I'm doubling it for 1.5 ounces. So, and then we got a peach liqueur, peach vodka, fruity vodkas. I guess I did say vodka. This is more of a liqueur. But yeah, any kind of flavored fruity vodkas you might have. A lemon vodka is fine, whatever you have at home. The point is just to use whatever's in your cabinet, or whatever your friends bring over. So same thing, 0.75 ounces. I'm gonna go 1.5 ounces to double it. Okay, so that's the heavy lifting out of the way. We're gonna go with some pineapple juice. Ounce of pineapple juice. So there's 2. I've got OJ, ounce of OJ. I'm gonna spill that everywhere. And then we've got, what is it, lime juice? Lime juice. So 0.75 lime as well. So give it a good 1.5 ounces there. All right, and then we're gonna shake. So ice in the other half of my shaker, as you can hear. We're gonna combine that. Okay. Nice and frothy. We are going to get that in equal measure. It's nice and thick and frothy. I like it. And then what we're gonna do there is we're gonna top it with a little Sprite. Obviously, don't shake the Sprite in the shaker. That's not a great idea. Carbonation and motion is a recipe for disaster. And then you just top it with whatever you have. I don't seem to have many garnishes around. I do have cherries, so we'll throw some cherries in there. Orange wheels, pineapple wedges, anything like that you might have. Fruity, fun,
Yeah,
all is fair game. It is tropical. We're gonna you're gonna want to watch Pirates of the Caribbean marathon after drinking a couple of these. So
that sounds pretty nice, actually.
I know it's cold again outside. Not a fan of that. So I'm all about feeling warm on the inside. So grab that glass. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's good. It's
wow,
very good.
That is very good.
It's very fruity. It's very fun. I may have to remember this for when we do our luau party later
Oh
in
yeah.
the year. So, all right, let's go sit down and watch the Pirates. I mean, talk about networking,
Sounds
and
good.
we will see you at the chairs.
All right. Well, Joey, we've got our first drink. You said jungle juice, kind of.
Oh, jungle juice. It's very delightful.
It is. Yeah.
Like a beach party in my mouth.
Well, I like this one a lot. It's very nice. I'll be honest. In my 3.5 years of college, I only went to one party where I had any kind of punch or jungle juice, and it was all right. This is much better.
This is curated.
Yes.
This is not allowing everybody to bring all their own ingredients and
Mm-hmm.
you know, that kind of thing. So,
But it's very good. Jumping away from the drink, and let's jump right into networking.
okay.
Okay. The first thing we got to talk about is hardware types.
Okay.
And there's a lot of misconceptions about different kinds of hardware, and hopefully we're going to clear some of that up as we're talking today.
Gotcha. So by
Okay.
hardware, you mean like modems and computers and
That's
things
right.
like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you said it, modem. First of all, what does modem even mean? Well, modem is short for modulator demodulator. They took the two words, combined them together, and said modem. Okay. What does a modem do?
Connects you to the internet.
It does, but what is it actually doing?
I don't know.
It is taking a signal that's been modulated and then demodulating that signal in another format.
Okay.
So they're taking an analog signal and creating a digital signal afterwards. Okay, so a lot of times, you know, you think of around here, Mediacom's pretty big. They've got the kind of the coax cable coming into your house.
Yep.
Okay, so that coax is an analog signal.
Okay.
It gets to the modem, and the modem then turns it into a digital signal for all the other devices.
Sure.
Okay. ONTs are optical network terminals. They do the same thing, but for fiber.
Okay.
Okay, so we now have the
So-
fiber supplier here.
ONT is a modem, for lack of a better term.
Functionally, they are going to do the same thing. Technically, they are different.
Okay.
But ONT, it's going to take that fiber signal and convert it to an Ethernet-based signal for you for the rest of your network.
Gotcha.
Okay. And it's, you know, optical network terminal because it's where the fiber terminates, where the optical limit is.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so we've got the modems, we've got the ONTs. They bring your internet into your building. Then you need something else. We're going to use a router and a gateway.
Okay.
In a couple of seconds, we're going to talk about why there's some misconceptions about modems and routers and gateways and all those things, but we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Routers and gateways are, well, gateway specifically, that is what connects the outside world to the inside world.
Okay.
Okay. So your provider, your internet service provider, ISP, they're going to provide internet to probably their own modem, although sometimes you can supply your own. And from their modem, you're going to go to a router or a gateway. Okay. Functionally, those two things are different. Hardware-wise, most of the time, they are the same device.
Okay.
So a gateway is, like I said, it's what connects the outside world to the inside world. A router is what routes traffic through that gateway back and forth.
Okay.
Okay. You have a public IP address and a private IP address. What is an IP address? Well, an IP address is kind of like an address for where you receive mail. Okay. But
email.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. All right. Electronic for sure. So you have public. What does that mean? That's your house address. Okay. Then you have private. That is. Oh well. We'll use an example. You have an inn above us. Okay. You have an address for the inn, which is where people show up and park their cars.
Sure.
Then inside of the inn, you have different rooms.
Okay.
Okay. So your public is the address for where you park your car. Your private IP address, that's going to be the specific room you're in when you stay here.
Got it.
Okay. Then you have switches and hubs. Hubs are kind of technology of days past. You don't typically use them anymore because hubs And I mentioned earlier I did a computer networking class in high school, and our teacher said, "Hey, hubs, they're dumb, they're stupid. Hubs don't have any intelligence. So if you really want to poke fun at somebody, just tell them they're a hub and move on." Chances are they won't get the joke, but that's okay.
Stupid hubs.
Yes. So the
If they
reason
weren't such a hub, they would get the joke.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why hubs are dumb devices or stupid devices is because hubs don't keep any kind of tables. They don't keep a record of devices.
Got it.
A network switch, on the other hand, does. So a network switch is going to be one of those devices that has several ports. You can get them in several different flavors, 8, 16, 24, 48.
Sure.
Lots of different ports.
So a switch is a hub that holds a grudge?
Not a grudge, but it holds records, right?
So record of your wrongs.
It's
a grudge.
What it's doing is it's looking at the MAC address of a device.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about that in just a second. But the MAC address of the device is kind of this permanent address. The switch, because it's a layer 2 device, we'll talk about more on that in the next section. But the switch is going to keep a record of all the MAC addresses and what ports they're plugged into. So when you send information to the switch, it only goes out the specific port that it needs to the device it needs to.
Okay.
Whereas with a hub, it sends out a broadcast basically to every single port. And obviously that's going to bog down your network.
Well, let me rephrase. So a switch is a hub with tact.
Yes. Okay. Knows where to go, knows how to speak.
Doesn't just stand up in a room and shout, "Hey, who wants this email that just came in?"
Exactly. So that really helps because it allows for particular traffic to go a particular direction without bogging down everybody else.
Got it.
Which is fantastic.
Doesn't interrupt the party.
Yes. There is also something called VLANs. LAN, everybody has probably heard that term, is local area network. You may not have known what it stood for, but everybody's heard it. We were talking about Xboxes and PlayStations and Nintendos and LAN parties when we were talking about those things. So a LAN is, just a local network that you combine using Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi or whatever.
Sure.
Most of the time, you're going to plug all those cables into switches in order for communication to each other.
Okay.
A VLAN is a virtual local area network. What does that mean? Physically, you can separate your networks by plugging into different switches. So switch 1 is, all your phones. Switch 2 is all your computers. Switch 3 is all of your IoT devices and smart home devices.
Got it.
That is a really big waste if you have 13 devices and 3 24-port switches. Then that's just, you're wasting so many ports. So a VLAN was put into place where you can virtually separate. Now you don't have to go to a different switch every time. You can split your ports up appropriately on each switch.
Okay.
That's very good for separation of things. You don't necessarily want your IoT devices to be on the same network as, like, say, your business production. Because what if somebody hacks your smart air fryer, and now they've got it into your air fryer, now they get into your computer and into your business stuff, and now you're tough out of luck.
Man, I hate when they hack my air fryer.
Yes. Okay, so that's routers, that's gateways, that's modems, that's ONTs, switches versus hubs. Then you have access points.
Okay.
An access point is a location that gives you some kind of wireless connection. Okay.
Okay.
So you have Wi-Fi access points, or APs as we call them. You may see them abbreviated WAP, wireless access point.
Okay.
That is what actually emits your Wi-Fi signal.
I laugh because WAP means something completely different to a hip hop crowd.
Yes, it does.
Look it up or don't.
Yeah, or don't.
Just take our word for it. You don't want to know.
But an access point does not have to be the same piece of hardware as your router, as your modem, as your gateway, as your switch. It can be an entirely separate piece of hardware. And we're going to come back to this statement in just a second. But then you have NIC cards, okay? A NIC card is the physical device that is connected to your computer or your laptop or your cell phone or whatever it may be. And there are wireless NICs. That's how you get Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But it is the actual card or system inside of your device that allows it to connect to the internet.
Okay.
Every single NIC card gets a MAC address. The MAC address is permanently embedded into that device. It's kind of like a social security number. It's permanent. It never changes.
Okay.
An IP address is different. It is more like your mailing address. So every time you move, your IP address changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the NIC card is what's in your phone, it's what's in your laptop, it's where you plug that Ethernet cable or that CAT cable in,
Yeah.
or it's what connects to your Wi-Fi network.
Okay. But
Okay.
if I'm at home versus coffee shop,
Mm-hmm.
my IP address is going to be different.
Yes,
Okay.
most likely. But your public IP address would definitely be different.
Mm-hmm.
Your private IP address, it just depends on what their scheme is. You might get lucky. It might, statistically, there is a chance it could be the same thing, but that's pretty low. So the last hardware device we're going to talk about is firewalls.
Okay.
Firewalls are more software devices now, but they used to have their own. There actually are appliances that are firewall appliances that they're their own piece of hardware.
Okay.
But a lot of times they're software and they sit between the modem and the router, or they're baked and integrated into the router nowadays. Now, some misconceptions, some ideas about hardware. If you go to a place like MediaCom and you say, I need internet, they're going to supply you with this one single box. This one single box has a modem in it. It has a router and a gateway in it. It has a 3 or 4 port switch on it. And it has a Wi-Fi access point built into it. It's all one device. So everybody says, yeah, this is my modem at home, and that's what they think gives them the Wi-Fi. No. The access point inside of that device gives you your Wi-Fi. It just happens to be integrated into the same piece of hardware, the same piece of plastic as your modem.
Got it.
So that's one of the things that is sometimes hard to explain to somebody who's at home and they're trying to, troubleshoot something. And they're like, hey, yeah, my modem isn't working. And I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean that the internet is out? Because that's not a me problem. That's an internet ISP problem.
Sure.
Or does it mean your Wi-Fi is not emitting to to another room in your house? Because that's an access point problem. So it's very hard when companies combine all those things into one piece of hardware.
Yeah.
It's very hard to troubleshoot sometimes unless it's as simple as, hey, your power strip turned off and you don't have power to the device, and that's why all your stuff doesn't work.
Yeah. And most people don't care to know the difference between them, right? They just need to know, hey, I can't get my Xbox on the internet right now, so I can, play, I don't know, Fortnite with my buddies.
Yeah.
So I had to think about what the cool hip game was at the moment. I almost said Call of Duty. I don't know, do people play Call of Duty anymore?
Yeah.
So
just not near as often. Black Ops 2 is kind of where it died off for me. But of course, I've got Black Ops, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something now. But okay, that's hardware devices.
Yeah.
Let's go grab drink number 2.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back. Yeah, we're going to come back and hit software of networking.
Okay.
And kind of explain a little bit about, how we can maybe tell a story with networking devices.
All right, that sounds good. Thematically, it all works out. Okay, so we did a ritual. The next one, as we mentioned, is a story.
Okay.
We are sitting here on the shore of Lake Barkley. If we look out that window over there, we can see the land between the lakes over there. And now, when you're talking about the land between the lakes, and you're talking about stories of the land between the lakes, there is no more of an exciting story I can think of than the beast of the land between the lakes.
Okay.
Okay, so the beast of the land between the lakes, it all goes back to about the 1980s.
Okay.
Okay. there's a lot of campgrounds in the LBL over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which campground this was. It might not even exist anymore, because the beast was called the Massacre of the LBL, and this was such a massacre they probably got rid of the campground altogether. But the story goes there was a family that was vacationing in an RV in a campground in the LBL, and they had their kids and one of their kids' friends with them. So at night, they're having a little fire, getting ready for bed, all the things, and somehow they get attacked. The camper is destroyed, scratches shredding through the, kind of thin metal walls of this camper. All that stuff. The family is massacred. Bloody mess, guts everywhere. And that makes me thirsty. And legend has it that the friend of the kids survived, was very badly wounded, but lived to tell, and reported seeing a dog-like, wolf-like creature that had attacked them, the beast of the LBL. And so the story goes on to say that the government, the park services, and everything covered it up. That they couldn't let it get out; it would kill tourism, etc. Among all the least of your worries, it would kill tourism. But officially, the park services to this day have always said it was just folklore. Just a rumor, just a story, just a fairy tale that maybe some high schoolers did some drugs over there and made stuff up and heard some stuff, and the mind gets activated with the imagination in the dark. Sights and sounds and all that stuff. So but it's not the only story. I think that's worth mentioning. There's a man that I've met who has a story kind of similar. He was a sheriff's deputy. He and his partner, his professional partner, not his life partner, they were hunting in the woods down by the Tennessee line in the LBL. They were attacked at night at their campsite. And they escaped. They made it okay, but some other campers were killed that night.
Oh, wow.
The next day, they went to the sheriff's station or the ranger station to report it, and there was a whole lot of commotion going on. They were pretty much silenced. They were, we're not going to talk about it, et cetera, et cetera. Definitely had the smell of some kind of cover-up, which kind of echoes the first story. But I don't know, this guy, he's written books on it. He still talks about it. He had a prominent career. He had no reason to make something like this up. He denies being on drugs. I wasn't there. I don't know. But it's one of those things like Bigfoot, that story persists over time and it tends to keep happening. And even to this day, people report giant wolf paws, found, or weird howling at night that doesn't really sound like a coyote. Wolves aren't supposed to be in the LBL, apart from the red wolves at the nature station. So, I mean, who's to say? It could be a lot of folklore, but it is a fun story, and so it deserved a fun drink to go with it. If we had a whole crowd here, we could tell that story, and they'd all be engaged, and that's the point of bringing people together, right? So we are going to be a little bestial here, and we're going to stick with some rum, because we're not completely animals. This is a dark aged rum. I went back to our plantation 5-year that we used the other episode. Just a solid all around rum. We did a shrub before, did we not?
We did.
With the strawberry. This one is a blackberry shrub.
Okay.
And so I made it this morning. It's still a little bit warm, because I did not age it in a fridge for like 3 weeks. Surprise. So we're just going to go a little half ounce. You may remember shrubs, fruit, sugar, and vinegar. So it's going to bring something different, something a little bit more feral, need we say, to the drink. Not that I think we need it, but just because it's fun. I'm not actually going to use simple syrup. We're going to use a little bit of agave. It calls for honey, but I didn't have honey down here. So we're going to use agave, just a squirt. because it's a more earthy sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to really go maple. Maple will change the flavor of everything. Honey's a good one, kind of a neutral sweetness.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go with some lemon juice, 0.75. The bottle is unopened, so plot twist. It was an urban legend that I had easy access to lemon juice. So, all right, there we go, 0.75. Boom. Boom. And then bitters. 2 droppers of an Angostura or aromatic bitters for effect. We just got all the flavors and earthiness going on in this drink. I'm gonna do a little stir. Just kind of blend those flavors together lovely, like so. And we're gonna top it with a little bit of ginger beer. Because ginger is a nice, healthy herbal treat.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, it doesn't really need a garnish because, but look how red and dare we say bloody this is, because it's bestial.
Ooh.
It's all kinds of smells.
Yeah. Here we go.
Ooh. Primal. I like it. It's different. You get that shrub. The shrub stands out a lot with the ginger beer,
Mm-hmm.
and it provides a completely different flavor profile than anything we've probably had on this show before.
I'd say so.
So, but it's good. It's really good.
It is, yeah. I like that.
Okay. So we're going to go continue our conversation
Yep.
while drinking this monster of a drink.
Okay, so we've got this monster of a drink,
Yeah.
and now we have kind of the beast of networking, the beast of how all the hardware we just talked about earlier, how it all works together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As a beast, has a bite.
Yeah, it does. That ginger is so good.
Yeah.
In networking, there is a concept known as the OSI model.
Okay.
There's another one called the TCP/IP model, which takes the OSI and kind of condenses it down.
Mm-hmm.
But the OSI model is a 7-layer model that describes how networking works from beginning to end.
Like a 7-layer dip.
Yes, it is exactly like a 7-layer dip.
Which is the beans?
I'll let you decide in a few minutes.
All right.
Okay, so the OSI model, 7 layers, it has a mnemonic to help you remember. And this is kind of prudent for being where we're at because it's about pizza.
Oh.
And that 7-layer model is please do not throw sausage pizza away.
Please do not throw sausage pizza away.
Yep.
That's a fair request.
Yes, because sausage pizza is good. Why would you throw it away?
Right. I mean, unless the sausage went bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just criminal.
So what does that mnemonic actually stand for? Okay. The first layer is physical.
Okay.
Second layer is data.
Mm-hmm.
Third is network. Fourth is transport. Fifth is session. Sixth is presentation. And seventh is application. So some of those names or words kind of sound familiar, but what do they mean? The first one, physical. This is the physical medium. This is the connection, the hardware, the Ethernet cable, the Wi-Fi signal, whatever it may be.
Okay.
This is your physical layer.
Gotcha.
Okay. The majority of problems in this world are layer 1 problems. It's not a software issue, it's a hardware issue. Physically, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And in the bar world, think of the physical as the physical glass that you have. Okay. It's not necessarily the drink. The drink is kind of an intangible concept in this example.
Okay.
The glass itself is where the drink or the data resides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And it's good data. Okay. Layer 2 is data. That's the MAC address, the coaster that the glass is sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the physical. This is the coaster the glass is sitting on.
You just said the data was inside the glass.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a flawed
The data layer.
analogy.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. But the data layer is the MAC address that I was talking about earlier. So
Okay.
I mentioned that switches have a MAC address table. We call that ARP, Table Address Resolution Protocol.
Okay.
It's the table, so it knows every port that a MAC address is on, so it can send directly to that MAC address to that device through this specific port. Switches, for the most part, are layer 2 devices because they're going to send directly to that MAC address on their table. There are layer 3 switches, but that's going to be outside the scope of what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Layer 3 is your network layer.
Is that like the table number that you're sitting at in the bar?
It could be.
Okay.
It's more of, it depends. So layer 3 is network. That's your IP address, right? So layer 2 is MAC address. Layer 3 is IP address. IP address, I said earlier, the public IP address is your delivery address.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're thinking internal, your private IP address, that could be the table you're sitting at the bar.
I'm just thinking if you're a bartender, you need to know where you're delivering the drink to.
Yes.
So, you know, it could be the table, perhaps, or...
It could be, yeah.
You know, you find the table, and then you put it on the coaster, and you give them the glass.
Yes.
So
we're going to break down units in a moment.
Okay.
But so far, I'm okay with this analogy.
Okay.
Layer 4, that's your transport layer. It's where you have quality control.
Okay.
There's 2 different protocols that are pretty common for the transport layer. It's UDP and TCP. UDP is like somebody walks up and says, hey, I want a beer. And the bartender throws the beer and doesn't even see if they catch it. They don't see if they open it. They just throw the beer to them.
That sounds like a Friday night.
Yeah. TCP is somebody walks up and says, I want a beer. The bartender tosses them the drink, watches to make sure they catch it, and acknowledges the fact that they have begun to open it and drink it.
And
so
they charge them for it.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot more of a handshake that happens with TCP because TCP cares about the end result, whereas UDP doesn't. Now, if you're really busy on a Friday night, your bartender's just tossing drinks, that means that they're trying to do it faster, right?
Yeah.
So in the same...
This isn't Nashville on Broadway.
Yeah, that's true. But it's the same token with UDP. UDP is faster because it doesn't wait for a response to acknowledge that things are good. It just sends out the information.
Yeah. UDP is the guy walking around through a stadium and he's like, hey, beer me. And he's like...
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's yes, perfect, because they just toss it and they move on. They toss to the next person.
Yeah.
So UDP has its place because it is faster. It doesn't need those direct responses. As an example, think about when you're having a phone call. If you're having a phone conversation, you want those signals to be going quickly. Because you don't want to talk and then 30 seconds later hear what the other person is saying. You want talk and response immediately. So you might have instances where voices just cut out completely on a phone conversation for just a second or two because some of those packets are lost, and you are better off in a conversation to lose some packets than you are to always be delayed with packets.
Got it.
That would be a very painful conversation to have if it was always 30 seconds delayed.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's UDP and TCP in the transport layer. Then you have session, presentation, and application. That's layers 5 through 7.
Sausage pizza away.
Yes. These 3 layers get combined together to be the software you see, the application that's in front of you. It's the Spotify app, or it's the Google Chrome web page. It's all of those 3 things combined together to give you the end result.
Got it.
I mentioned earlier that the OSI model got condensed down to a TCP IP model. It has 4 layers and basically just combines these 3 as to one, and then kind of separates it a little bit differently, but same basic concept.
Okay,
I mentioned units a while ago. What are the units that go to each layer, and what do they mean? The first one is bits. On your physical cable, you're going to have yes and no, or on and off. Each one of those is represented by a 0 or 1 in binary, so it's your bits going across. 0 is off, 1 is on. Okay? This happens very, very, very quickly because we're sending lots of signals all at once, which is why it's so important to have good cabling so that you can send more of these bits across at one time.
Yeah.
Okay, layer 2 is a frame. So you take your bits, you create this data within the bits, you stick it inside of a frame. Then layer 3 is a packet. You take the frame and stick it inside of a packet. Layer 4 is segment. You take the packet and stick it inside of the segment. And 5 is your data overall. Okay, think of a Jaeger bomb where you have a shot inside of maybe a glass of Red Bull. And because you have a little thing inside of a big thing, that's kind of what we're doing with the units of the OSI model. Okay. Do you know what a I'm going to say this wrong, but the Matryoshka dolls are? Yeah, the Russian stacking dolls.
Yeah.
You know what those are?
Matryoshka.
Yeah, you have a little doll and then a slightly bigger doll and a slightly bigger doll.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the OSI model. In segment 3, we're going to kind of go through the journey of how all of those connect together. But I want to hit on just a couple more things before we get into the third segment.
Sure.
One of those is DNS. That's domain name service.
Okay.
This is super important. When you go to a web browser, what do you type in if you want to go to Facebook?
I usually just pull up my phone, hit the app button.
Okay. Let's say you're on a laptop, you open up Google Chrome and you want to go to Facebook.
I hit FAC and it usually auto-populates the rest.
Yeah, because you're typing in the name of the website you're trying to go to. That's what DNS does.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I mean, it's facebook.com either. It's the address too.
yes.
I'm just leaving out the HTTP.
So, but the reason why we can do just the name is because we as humans don't remember all the numbers in the world. Facebook is actually redirecting to a specific IP address to get the data that you want.
Gotcha.
So DNS takes an IP address and a name and combines them together. So there is a DNS registrar that is just worldwide, and your computers can contact the DNS registrars to know what IP address belongs to what website. The same is true for, let's say, host names. So your computer has a name that you give it. Maybe it's, like for instance, my work laptop is Joseph-STG-LT because that helps me know what this laptop is if I'm doing an IP scan through my network. Okay, so I see the host name. It then has an IP address, and my router has a table in it with DNS records that says, okay, this name belongs to this IP address.
Got it.
So there's kind of this joke with IT people that if there's a problem with your network, it's probably a DNS problem. You can connect to an IP address in the world, but you can't connect to a name of a website in the world because there's something wrong with the DNS records that the name and IP address is not syncing together. And so therefore you can't get to facebook.com, but if you typed in the IP address for facebook.com, you would get there.
192 whatever.
Actually, no, not 192. And that's exactly where we're headed in just a second with IP addresses. I'll explain the difference between the 192 and everything else.
Okay.
But you can also, right before we get there, you can think of DNS as I walk into the bar and say, I'll take my usual beer.
Okay.
Right now, that's athletics.
I was going to say, that's depends on the time of year it is.
Yeah, but starting a week from now, it will be most of the time you or the bartenders, they're going to know, okay, my usual drink, if I look in my mental database, is going to be a garage beer or maybe a Boyd Light or whatever it might be. But there is a mental record that you guys have for assigning a drink to somebody's usual.
Sure.
We got a couple people that come in here, and you can guarantee when they walk through the door, they're going to order an old fashioned. They have cups with their names on it, and there's going to be an old-fashioned first thing. That is the same thing that DNS does. It just takes an association between something that is usually connected and pairs them together on a table somewhere for the whole world to be able to access.
Makes sense.
Okay. I alluded to getting to IP addresses and the 192 and there's so many schemes, but let's dive into IP addresses for just a few minutes.
Okay.
First of all, we talked about public and private. Public is the INS mailing address. Private is the room number or room name that they're in.
Yep.
Okay. If you have an IP address on the outside, it is not going to start with 192.168.
Okay.
Because there are 3 different classes: Class A, B, and C. Class C is 192.168. Class B is 172.16. Class A is going to be 10.x.x.x. What's happening is the number of host bits that are applied versus the number of network bits. And without getting into this too deep, basically you have a certain number of IP addresses that can be given to devices and a certain number of IP addresses that are reserved for the whole network in general. Okay. There's something to be said about classless inter-domain routing, which is CIDR numbers. Basically, we took the classes and threw them away. But in general, a Class C address, that 192.168.1.x, is going to give you 254 addresses to use. So that's 254 computers and phones and game systems and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Class B
should be enough.
Unless you're like in an enterprise network and you have 500 devices, well, now your 254 doesn't begin to cover it.
Sure.
So what they did is IP addresses are done in binary.
Okay.
I think not today, but in a future episode, we're going to dive into IP addresses a little bit heavier and the binary, and just have this crazy geek out session about how IP addresses work and subnetting and all these things. But basically, what you need to know is there's 3 different classes. One gives you 8 bits to choose from, which gives you 254 addresses. The next gives you 16 bits to choose from, so 2 to the 16th power instead of 2 to the 8th. And then one gives you 24 bits to choose from, and that's now 2 to the 24th power instead of 2 to the 8th or 2 to the 16th.
Gotcha.
Where we threw classes away and said, forget A, B, and C, said that we can actually break this down in a way where you don't need to do 8, 16, or 24. Now you can do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can go by individual bits instead of, or not bits, but individual placeholders instead of going by sections of 8. Okay. Again, that's a whole other episode all on its own. So we're not going to go too much deeper into that. But the next thing we'll talk about is static versus dynamic addresses. Okay, what does static and dynamic mean? First of all, if something is static, it stays in place. If something is dynamic, it moves. So you can infer by those definitions what static and dynamic IP addresses are. A static IP address, and by the way, dynamic addressing or static addressing you typically do with the DHCP server. That's Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. That server is what assigns addresses. Okay. Now there's a little bit of a misnomer on that. We'll come to that in just a second. But the DHCP server can assign addresses in a specific pool. We call it the DHCP pool or the address pool. So what happens is you walk in with your printer and you connect it to your network. And your printer maybe is a Wi-Fi connection. But you want to make sure that your computer can always see your printer. And if you add your printer to your computer using an IP address, because that's the protocol it's using, then what happens when your printer gets turned off, you turn it back on and it grabs another address. Now you can't reach your printer anymore. So
that'd be annoying.
It sure would be. So what you do is you statically assign an IP address to your printer. So even if your printer gets shut off and comes back on, it always pulls the same address as what it had the day before.
Okay.
Okay. There are two different ways of doing static IP addresses. You can physically log into a device and set the IP address to be static or fixed. Or you can keep it on DHCP and log into your router. By the way, this is the better way of doing it. Log into your router and set a static IP address reservation in the DHCP server.
Okay.
So that the router hands out the address every time. Why is this the better route? Your router or your DHCP server is going to hand out addresses to every device that connects to the network. If I log into my printer and I set my printer for 192.168.1.5, and then I just leave it at 1.5, it shuts off. The printer knows that when it comes back on, it should be at 1.5. The router doesn't. So the router, some other device comes on, one of your friends show up and they've got their phone, they connect to your Wi-Fi, and
While
they
your
get
printer's off.
While the printer's
Right,
off,
and then-
and they get 1.5 because the router handed it to them. But now all of a sudden you've got an emergency. You got to print out whatever you got to print out.
Yeah.
So you go and you turn your printer on and it has 1.5. Now that phone and your printer have the same address. This is what we call an IP conflict. Now you can't communicate to your printer and the other person doesn't have internet on their phone because the network doesn't know what to do with the fact there's two devices that have the same IP address. So the better way of doing it is log into your router, tell your router that the MAC address for your printer deserves the 1.5 address every time, and it will no longer hand that 1.5 out even if your printer's off or on.
Interesting.
So super important to make sure that if you set a static IP address on stuff, you want to make sure that that is not part of your IP address DHCP pool, because you don't want to be handing out those addresses.
Seems like this episode needs a lab that goes with it. Like you can physically go in and show people, hey, this is how you log in your router. This is how you set this static on the router side.
I'll of course throw some pictures on the screen, but that would be cool. I think we should do a little tutorial lesson about setting static IP addresses and things. Your computer can do the same thing. Computers can have static or dynamic addresses.
Sure.
And if
what is the reason why somebody would want a dynamic address?
So dynamic address means that the device doesn't pick, the router picks.
Okay.
Or the DHCP server picks. You you almost always want that to be the case. Now, DHCP pools can actually be limited to specific ranges if your device is smart enough, if your router or server is smart enough. The reason why you might want to do that is you might have a device that you want to statically set inside of the device itself for a specific reason, and you want the router to just never hand out addresses on that range. An example of that is, our company does a lot with security cameras. I may not be able to control the DHCP server on a customer's network, but I can control every device that we install. So on the cameras, I set static IP addresses because I never want the camera addresses to change.
Sure.
If I did, the camera server might lose connection with them. And we don't want that because we want to always make sure we're recording.
Right.
So I set all those devices for static for the most part. And then what happens is I tell the IT company for the IT group for that customer or that company, hey, I'm going to use 192.168.1.5 through 30 for these cameras. Take 5.5 through 30 out of your DHCP pool so that none of your devices are ever assigned addresses that match our cameras.
Sure.
There's a lot more to it than that. Most of the time, they're going to create that separate VLAN for cameras versus, the same VLAN that all the business network is on. But it just depends on the scope of the project or the scope of what the IT company for them, the IT group for that company does, or what we're doing and how much control over the whole network we have. There are some customers we control the whole network top to bottom.
Mm.
So I create multiple VLANs for cameras and computers and phones and whatever it may be, just a whole list of things.
Yeah.
And that way they're totally separated, and I never have to worry about crossover on the IP addresses.
Okay.
Um,
So is it more like if you're in a business, especially an office
Mhm.
or something, anything that stays there all the time should be on a static, and but people's like phones and stuff that are coming and going, they can be dynamic.
yeah. Things you don't want changing. So if you have computers that are there all the time, they don't necessarily need to be static, unless it is maybe a very particular device like a server.
Mm. Something that people need to access regularly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because most of the time you're not accessing your computer from somebody else's computer,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't need to have the same address every time. It can be dynamic and change however it wants. But if you have a server, like a file server, a camera server, something of that effect, then you want those devices to always be the same IP address.
Yeah.
That way, all your clients can connect to that server and you don't have to go looking for addresses every time.
So cameras, printers, servers, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
There is a way of getting around that. There's something called dynamic DNS, and basically you're assigning a name to an IP address, and the IP address can change as much as it wants. But because it's dynamic DNS, it always registers the changing IP address with the name you give it. Again, that's beyond the scope of what we're getting into today, but there are exceptions to every rule. This is a bird's eye view. This is nuts and bolts and basics.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where we're at for that.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
I've finished my drink.
You're out of a drink.
It won't take long before you're ready for yours.
Yep.
So I think we're going to go grab our third drink, and we're going to get into some final thoughts and kind of walk through the journey of a click in just a minute.
Of the click?
Of a click.
Like your tightest knit group of friends?
Like your mouse clicking on a web page.
Ah, okay. All right. We'll be back. Okay. Back for round 3.
Yep.
I'm feeling nicely tipsy. Third one was experience.
Mm-hmm.
I remember still. Okay. So, experience, something that takes place in the drink making process that pulls everybody's attention in, gathers everybody around close, kind of like a campfire.
Okay.
Okay. So, I like to play local as much as possible, or play with local, I should say. I do play local. I'm not from here, but I do pretend to be, so it all still applies. So what we're going to go with here is a product out of the M.B. Roland distillery. M.B. Roland is about 45 minutes south of here, down 24, heading toward the Tennessee border. Fun fact, the same exit where they're building the new Buc-ee's.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. So shout out to Buc-ee. This is their Dark Fired Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Dark Fired is something that is intricate to this area because this area is known for its tobacco.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, tobacco barns and the smells and everything.
Yeah.
The dark firing is the technique that they use to cure the tobacco.
Okay.
And they do that same dark firing technique on the corn that they grow and use in the mash bill for this bourbon.
Okay.
So what you're going to get is something that's going to be more inherently smoky, more scotchy than bourbon.
Yeah.
But very, very unique. One of their coolest products, I think. And I love M.B. Roland because not only are their owners fantastic, but they're not afraid to try different things.
Yeah.
You know, at one point I was in there and they let me try this hemp whiskey that they had made, which was very, very unique. And I like experimentation. I like people who aren't afraid to push the envelope a little bit. So that was really, really cool. Not sure I would drink it on the regular.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the experience of something different. So we're gonna go with this Dark Fire. And if you can't find the Dark Fire, if M.B. Roland isn't sold around you, find a nice mellow Scotch, something a little smoky but not overly peaty, because it will it will change things up a little bit. So we're going to go with 1.5 ounces here. I'm going to pour this into a shaker, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm only doing one at a time because of a very specific thing. There's 2 elements that make this an experience. My really long spoon, that's not one. We're going to go with about 1/2 ounce of maple syrup, my barrel-aged maple syrup. So I'm going to do like 2 spoons. Okay. I'm going to get that, stir that around, just to kind of get it off my spoon a little bit. We're going to go with a black walnut bitters. I'm going to go 2 droppers on this. Okay. We are going to do 0.75 ounces of lemon juice, and thankfully I know it's already open this time. So, okay. And then, here's the first thing.
An egg, okay.
An egg. This is freshly laid this morning from the chicken coop. We're going to crack it just a little bit, and what we're going to do is we are going to gently crack it open, let the white fall down in it. You are welcome to use any kind of egg separator tool that you may have laying around the kitchen. I've been baking a long time, so I just kind of toss the yolk back and forth until I get all the yolk or the white out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Toss that, and I'm gonna wish I had a towel. There's a towel. Okay. And then, what's very important about egg whites when you shake, you got to give it a dry shake. That's what they call it first. No ice in it. And you're going to shake for about 10 to 15 seconds.
Okay.
Just to incorporate everything in together. The
Okay.
egg whites with everything. And the alcohol is going to kind of, I don't know if it's the right word, pasteurize the egg white. So it'll be, I mean, people drink raw eggs all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world, but it makes it safer. You know, if you're worried about bacteria and things like that, the alcohol's gonna kind of, you know, alcohol kills everything.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna shake this for a few seconds here. Things are flying out of it. You also have to be careful with the egg white too, because it is going to expand. And it does build up pressure, and all of that is great. So once you give it a dry shake, add a little bit of ice. You don't need a lot of ice. We're just going to chill it down a little bit, and the ice will it'll help break up the egg white because it gets sticky and it's clumpy. But you can think of it as like if you ever do like a protein shake in one of those shaker bottles, you have the little metal strainer thing in there. That's what the ice does. It just kind of helps do all that. Okay, the egg white, you will notice, is going to give it a lot more milky texture, a fuller body, and then as it rests, you will notice it will kind of settle and separate, and you're going to get a nice, cool kind of white lip at the top.
Okay, interesting.
So, famously done in things like whiskey sours. If you go to like a cool cocktail bar or something, they will do a whiskey sour in that. They don't always. I don't usually, just because people around here don't tend to appreciate. You know, we're not in an area where we get a whole lot of ritzy, high-end people that want to pay $20 for a cocktail. You know, so that kind of, and they also have kind of a stigma against, I think, raw eggs in their cocktail. But so yeah, so you can see. Camera probably can't see it, but we can see there's a little frothy line there settling at the top. The next element here, because it's a campfire, because we want to bring in some of that extra flavor and also send great smells into the air, I've got a couple sprigs of rosemary. These are from the garden, and because it is February, they're kind of dry. They're not healthy, but they do smell good. So we're just gonna torch this a little bit, and you can see, hopefully, the smoke. Yeah, I can see the smoke in the camera wafting into the air. Just give it a nice torch. Get anybody that's not paying attention in this bar to pay attention. I'm going to blow ashes all over the place. and we are going to just toss that right in there. And this camera may be able to see, but for y'all here, this is a beautiful drink. Take a sip on that. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to work on the next one. Pour my ice out.
Well, it smells good, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Smells like God intended a campfire to smell.
Wow. That is a very different kind of taste than the first two drinks.
Yeah.
It is good, though.
I almost put a shrub in it.
Yeah, that is very good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to finish this up. We will see you over at the couches.
Okay, Joey, we've got our third drink.
Yes.
Mine is a little bit further down than yours.
Yep. Well, it took me a little bit longer to make mine.
Yep. Yeah, I had the privilege of being able to take my drink first, and it's pretty good. It's weird to have something green coming out of my drink.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good tasting drink. So definitely different than the first two, but it is good in its own right.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's got a nice smokiness without lighting up the whole drink.
Yeah.
So that's from that dark fire, but I think a little bit from the rosemary sprig that we caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about it, which I noticed, is that I think the light that we have on us is in a different position, so our shadows are cast a little bit differently this episode, I think. So
Yeah.
it has a little bit more of just a whole campfire experience.
Yeah.
Which is, we'll call it on purpose.
Sure.
Yeah. We had a dynamic IP for our light this week.
Yes.
Changed
yes,
a little bit. So it's okay.
All right. So
I do like that one. That's good.
it is very good.
Yeah.
It's weird to have an egg white inside of a drink, but it's I like it. I like it all together.
Well, it's protein.
Yeah.
So,
There we go. That's good.
It's healthier. Tide you over between next meal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's getting close to the next meal. I'm feeling
this
a little
my
hungry.
protein shake. Because I shook it.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So some final thoughts about networking.
Mhm.
Again, I mentioned in the last segment, this is bird's eye view. It's nuts and bolts. It's basics. It's not getting real in depth with every topic. We just don't have time for that.
Sure.
I think it will be really nice to dive into some of these things a little bit deeper later on.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that in future episodes, and we'll go from there. But a couple topics I want to hit on because they're pretty common knowledge things that you hear about is bandwidth and latency. Okay. What is the difference between those two? What do they even mean? Bandwidth is the width of the straw. How much data can your straw hold?
Oh, like the straw energy.
Yep.
Okay.
So you stick it. Think about your little cocktail stir straws or coffee stirs.
Yep.
They're super skinny. You
Sure.
can't put a lot of data in them.
Right.
Whereas your other straws that we were drinking out of with the highball glasses is, they're this tall, but they're wider. And then you think about a milkshake straw that's super wide.
Big fat guy.
Yeah. So how much data you can fit in a particular section of the straw is going to be your bandwidth.
Okay.
Latency is going to be the length of your straw.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have a straw this short versus this tall versus this tall, you have latency from going from the bottom of the glass to the top of the straw. That's going to be your delay and how long it takes to get to the end or the destination, which is your mouth, hopefully, and not all over you.
Hey, I made a mess earlier.
Yeah.
So
going from latency and bandwidth to Wi-Fi types. Everybody's heard 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. Nobody knows what that means.
Not a clue.
2.4 and 5 gigahertz, that's going to be your frequency that the Wi-Fi is on. 2.4 gigahertz is a lower frequency. 5 gigahertz is a higher frequency. There is Wi-Fi that is now 6 gigahertz. We're not going to talk about that other than the fact that just know that it's there. And that's kind of the up and coming thing that companies are starting to try to move to. The lower your frequency, the slower your speed, but the better it is at permeating objects, going through objects,
Okay.
and the longer distances it can go.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It just takes longer to get there.
Yes. So 2.4 gigahertz is going to be really good for getting through the walls in your house to go further. You know, what's interesting is at my house, when I'm in my living room, I'm using 5 gigahertz. Because the way that my router is set up, or my Wi-Fi access point is set up, whenever I walk outside of my house, that 2.4 gigahertz goes further and through the walls better. So I switch over from 5 gigahertz to 2.4 gigahertz on my phone as I'm walking the dog, you know, and doing whatever.
Sure. So does that are they built, modems and routers and such, are they built to switch between them seamlessly, or how does...
So they can be combined as a single network, or they can be separated into separate networks. Typically what you want to do is separate them into 2 separate networks, where you have 2.4 as one and you have 5 as another, because sometimes you have devices that are really old that can only be on 2.4, and it is better for those devices to be on their own network, so they're not interfering with the traffic on the 5 gigahertz for the 5 gigahertz.
But your phone will just swap to whatever has the better signal.
Yes, exactly. Your phone is smart enough to know the difference and know where it gets the better signal, so it will do it automatically.
Okay.
So 2.4, it goes further. It's better at getting through objects. Think of this as a bass drum. You know, it's got that lower pitch to it, that lower tone, but it kind of, and it's a slower sound, but it permeates through the whole room. Whereas a 5 gigahertz is more like a flute. Okay. You know, a flute is sharp, it's fast, it's a high pitched thing. It just happens really quickly, and then it goes on to the next note.
Sure.
So a flute can't go as far, it can't permeate through the walls as well, but it is extremely high pitched, high speed, you know, right next to it. So that's kind of your example with music instruments on how 2.4 and 5 contrast to each other.
Okay. A little bit of a mixed metaphor going from cocktails to flutes.
Yes, well, that's true. Well, in cocktails, a flute is something very different. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Had to get more of my egg.
Yes.
More of my protein.
That's right.
Okay. So how do we combine all this, wrap all this up, talk about the OSI model, the physical devices? How do we explain that journey of a click that I mentioned earlier? We're going to walk through it. Step 1, you know, you get on your computer, you go to a website. What all is happening? Step 1 is you're sending a request. This is your order at the bar.
Okay.
Step 2 is you're going to do a DNS lookup. Okay. I've decided what my order is going to be, but now I need to, well, you guys now have online ordering.
Yeah.
I've now decided I need to look you guys up to do a mobile order.
Okay.
Okay. Step 3 is the TCP handshake. I mentioned UDP doesn't care about, you know, the acknowledgement.
Right.
TCP does. It's the greeting. This is the first step of the TCP handshake is hello. The second step of TCP handshake is I'm here. The third step is great. Let me put in my order. Okay. So that's step 3, the TCP handshake, the greeting. Step 4 is that HTTP request. Okay. This is the specific drink that I'm ordering. HTTP.
Not via online.
Well, yeah, HTTP would be via online. Yeah. HTTPS is the same thing as HTTP, but with secure shell enabled. It allows for you know, more private encryption and that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Protocols and the difference between port 80 and 443 and 587 and 25. That's a whole nother video. We're not going to talk about that at all right now, but just know you're ordering online, you're sending an HTTP request at the website, and in order to order your specific drink. Step 5 is going to be your packets and routing. This is the delivery of that request that you just put in. Okay. Tiny packets coming your way, filled with data and with great labels. Okay, that's important, is that it's all labeled.
Yeah.
Think of you've ordered a pizza, or somebody has ordered a pizza from the bar. with their online ordering. They submit the request, and the kitchen staff makes a pizza, but they put it in boxes with individual slices.
Oh,
okay.
Terrible amount of waste.
Yeah, well, that's true, but you can only send so many devices in these. You have a box that's this big.
Yep.
You can only put one slice in it. Okay, so you stick one slice of pizza inside this box.
And the kitchen staff has really tiny hands, so they
Yes.
can only carry one at a time.
So they send it out.
We employ mice to deliver pizzas.
Yeah.
So.
Step 6 is the reassembly and rendering, or the presentation. Okay. Your NIC inside of your computer, inside of your phone, inside of whatever, it catches the bits and turns them into frames, and then frames into packets, packets into segments. The browser puts your pizza back together. Okay. So you had all these small, one single slice. Your browser took all those slices and stuck them back on the plate in a full platter of pizza.
So it shows up to the table as a full pizza.
Yes.
But the mice bring them down here one slice at a time, set them on a tray, and then the bartender's like, here's your pizza.
Exactly. Now, we mentioned TCP and UDP. TCP says, hey, slice number 4 never showed up. That goes back to the kitchen staff, and the kitchen staff knows slice number 4 never showed up. They go looking for it, they find it, they resend it, and now it gets to your pizza and gets made up.
Probably fell along the gravel out there.
Yeah, it could have, yeah. It's like it's soup or something.
Yeah. Soup.
The UDP, though, doesn't care if slice 4 ever got there. All UDP cares about is you got your pizza as fast as possible, whether there were pieces missing or not.
UDP's throwing beers across the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
So the last thing, step number 7 of this whole entire journey of a click is you have your whole pizza. It's the complete picture, the complete pour. It's the final product. Is you sent that request, you got the packets one at a time. The packets all showed up. They were reassembled, and now you have a pizza that you can eat.
Except for slice 4.
Yeah, if it was UDP, except for slice 4.
Man, that guy's a jerk. He's fired.
So that, networking in a nutshell, or networking in a bar glass, is how we get from one place to another. It's that communication from your computer to the switch your computer's connected to, or the Wi-Fi access point your computer's connected to the router, to the gateway, outside of your home network, to somebody else's router, somebody else's gateway, the bar's gateway, or the pizza place's gateway, so that they can receive the request that was given to them. And that is one of my favorite topics in the whole world, because I really enjoy networking. Any questions?
So many. I understand it better now. A lot of those terms I've heard. Couldn't have told you what they mean. Didn't know there were jerks out there throwing beers at people blindly.
Yep.
Or rats running around with my pizza slices. So, I mean, it all frames it in a way that is a little bit easier to digest, and hopefully for our listening audience as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good way of explaining things.
Yeah.
So I think, it'll be interesting to see when we get to this again for a bigger deep dive, how we go off the rails with it. But we'll I think next time you need visual aids.
Oh yes, I've got a couple ideas in mind. And again, like I said, I'll throw pictures on the screen for some certain things. But I think a dry erase board or something. I might pull one from work, and we kind of dive into some of these details. And I don't know. It might be next week. It might not be.
Yeah.
We got some other things that might be planned for next week.
Yep.
That'd be super exciting to do. And if that doesn't happen next week, then we might go ahead and do a deeper dive on networking and push the other plans a week or so.
Yes. So no spoilers for what's happening next week. Next week is its own thing.
Yes.
So until it's here.
But if you're in the audience and you don't understand networking, and I have presented to you things that you just want to ask questions about, ask those questions in the comments, and we'll try to explain them. And obviously, these recordings happen a couple weeks before you guys see the actual videos, so it may be a couple episodes before we respond to those. But of course, I'll always try to respond to the comments directly through the comment page. But we'll address those things that you guys are thinking of. So definitely, leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, share with your friends, so they can see just how nerdy you want to be, or they can obviously always learn something about new different kinds of drinks, things that they probably have never had before, like a cocktail like this.
Yeah. And Melissa, if you're watching, you still owe me a cookie cake. You know why.
Okay. So Melissa and everybody else, we will see you next time. And as always, follow your local laws and regulations. Have fun out there. Stay tipsy. And we'll see you next week.
That's right. And let us know if you make any of the cocktails, if you liked it, why or why not. And if you have an idea of a cocktail you want to see, let us know that too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Otherwise, we'll just keep making what we want.
Which we do enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So,
but,
as long as it's not AI generated.
Yes. Don't drink and drive. And until next time, like you said, stay tipsy.
We're Tipsy Tech Talk.